Alrighty, let's get into the Gunner Drone Marksman for Season 7. For those of you that have played Gunner Drone in the past, you hear Siege 1 enjoyers. Gunner Drone hasn't gotten some buffs into Season 7, mainly just from the items. There's a lot of new items that are coming in Season 7 that just make the build way more strong than it has been in the past. I will say that this is still an advanced build. This is not for newer players, as well as it's not for players who aren't good at getting rich early on, because this build will only scale decently if you have good items, right? So we're going to talk about where those thresholds are. We also do have a full written guide available here. Maybe this is an alt character for you. You farmed on something else. You do want to play the Gunner Drone. You're like an SSF. You're like, yo, I found this crazy item. It works for Gunner Drone. I want to make it. Here's how you would go about the build and how to level it. I'm not going to go as in depth on this one, just because, again, I don't want newer players getting caught up on the Gunner Drone. It levels really, really well, but you are going to hit a hard ass wall around like Hell 3, and you need a pretty good amount of gear to be able to push through that wall. And this is not going to be a super boss rusher to be able to get to Inferno. It's not, you're probably not going to have the capability to kill some of those newer bosses for Inferno without, a pretty good amount of gear, unless somebody's going to be rushing you through it, in which case you're going to need double the amount of fragments, because you'd have to get one for yourself and one for them to be able to push through, and then you could go into Inferno. But you probably don't have enough damage to farm the bosses there to get some of the items that you need. It is a difficult build. You do need to be a bit more of an advanced player in order to make this one work, right? So we'll go through some of this stuff. Pros and cons. Is an auto bomber playstyle. You have a built-in movement skill starting at level 1. This is Vault. It has a really decent leveling experience. You level with frag grenade into cannon turret and then into gunner drone. You hit gunner drone level 40 and you just skyrocket all the way to Hell 3 basically, right? I do have these cons again. Build not recommended for new players. Falls off extremely hard after Hell 1. Relies heavily on cooldown reduction gear. And there's cooldown reduction has also been nerfed quite substantially coming into Season 7. So it's going to be even more annoying to have good uptime on your Master Mechanic, which means you're going to need to have items that support the build without Master Mechanic. And it's going to require 2 angelic guns, right? They're called Commander Blasters. You're going to need to have those in order to make this build work. If for those of you that are coming into it and are leveling it as like an alt character, or you just say, you know what, Graxy, I don't care, I'm gonna play it anyway. Here are the skill trees, right? You're gonna play frag grenade into more frag grenade all the way up to level 16, right? And then you're gonna switch into cannon turret is what I like to go. This just melts bosses, it kills elites really fast. Up until level 30, right? Then we're gonna go into gunner drone, right? Around level 30. You can stay cannon turret if you would like to. At level 40, 100% you want to be cannon turret. You're going to take this augment here. Whoop, this one. There it is. You're going to take this gunner drone augment, this top left one. This gives you the laser beams, and you're going to melt everything, right? You're going to vault. It's going to auto target onto things, and you're going to melt all the way till Hell 3. Level 70, keep putting your points into gunner drone and its synergies. Finally, our level 100 gunner drone tree will look like this. Right? And then I, of course, have the low budget gunner drone before you. If you want to play this on a league start, it does blast pretty hard. You're going to be on the lower end. But it does have some of that capability to blast early in the game. It could be a situation where maybe you want to blast really fast to help your friends get to a certain point, and then you're going to re-roll out of something else. This could actually be quite effective for that, getting everybody all the way through Hell 1, and then as soon as you guys are in Hell 3, you re-roll because maybe they have a teleport to push you. That could totally be a viable option. So this is what that low budget tree would look like. Then as we start getting the items, here's our high budget AoE, our high budget single target, cannon turret, one of the best debuffs in the game, right? This one is for leveling, so you're going to take this top right. If you would like to continue with cannon turret, you can put points into this top right augment. And then as well as vault, I personally only like putting a few points into this just because you get too much distance with it. It makes you just like fly way too far and you like stuck on things. Another thing with cannon turret is this. Oh, I have right here. There it is. This is for debuffing. This far right one makes monsters take 105% increased damage from all sources. It's one of the most insane buffs in the entire game. You will have to have that. Really, really nice. Attribute allocation. While you're leveling, int, vitality, enough energy to feel comfy, get some, arcane skill damage. The rest of it's going to go into intelligence once you get to the end game. For leveling, I'm not going to go through this too much. If you are leveling this character for the very first time, for Gunner Drone specifically, hopefully you already know how to level and you don't need this section. But if you want to look through here, there is some information on rune words that you can acquire and some different affixes on items that would make sense for the build. But I'm not really going to go through that because I don't recommend that you play this as a first time leveling character. For budget items, there are some examples in here. I did test it and give you an idea. This is with, I've got some gear on, and my multi right here, 28 million. This is more than enough to be doing Hell 1, like around Hell 3. The problem is characters or monsters will get a bunch of resistance, which makes it hard to break through this point, right? You can even see here, I got a moon shard on, right? And I got crematoriums for the extra damage. I got some juice going on here. And it just really doesn't break past this point without a pretty good amount of gear. So in the budget area, I do have a bunch of items that you're more than welcome to throw these together. Maybe you find some good budget setup that lets you farm, right? By all means, go for it. I do have items in there. Once you hit the mid game, here's some information on things that you can do to scale up the damage of Gunner Drone. And then, of course, some examples. Ultimately, here's where it comes down to. This is the item that you need, right? You can see here's our damage, right? We have 3 billion. Not too bad considering the gear. 1.5 billion, right? And this is just pots. And then we get 2 Commander Sentry Blasters. These are the items that are practically required for this build. Look at that. It's literally the same setup as this, but I just have these 2 items on instead, right? Quite different. So that's really what gate keeps you from being able to play Gunner Drone. You can even go, if you just get 1, even that is a substantial increase in your damage, right? Now, something else that is really important here, you can see that I'm wearing Storm of Isle, right? You can see that I'm wearing Storm of Isle. The reason for it is you get pin. You get lightning pin on Storm of Isle, and Circuit Breaker, the damage that gets outputted by your Gunner Drone is lightning. It is an arcane skill. You have to have arcane skills. You have to have arcane skill damage. You have to have arcane flat damage. You have to have everything arcane in order to scale the damage of the skill. But when that damage actually hits the monster, it is lightning, right? So you need sources of lightning break and minus enemy lightning res in order to get that effectiveness, right? That's why we are wearing things like a wind token and a storm of Isle to get our pen. Okay? That's really important. A lot of people don't know that. So once again, there are some different setups in here showing you kind of what I got going on here in the mid game. I also have a bunch of item recommendations that you could try to put together here in the mid game. There is some chance that you can get through the mid game without needing your commanders. Bossing is going to be hard, and you're also going to need to know how to trade and how to get items and how to make money to get items in order to scale your build up, because these items aren't just going to fall out of the sky, right? So if you're good at that and you're typically a person that can get rich early on, then this build would probably be perfect for you. And if you end up failing, then you're going to have to re-roll because there's no other option, right? That's just it. So I don't want to bait anybody into it, but I've had a lot of people asking me about Gunner Drone, if it's been buffed, how good is it? I've had it for 2 seasons now, and I just wanted to showcase where everything is at, give you actual damage numbers, and let you know that it does have some viability if you know what you're doing, right? And then finally, I do have some like in-game. I do have some super in-game variants of it. It's insane. It's really good in the end game. But once again, I also don't have Sentry attack speed jewels, and I ain't gonna lie, boys, the Sentry attack speed jewels would probably double that DPS. I would probably double that DPS if I had Sentry attack speed jewels, because it'd make these just go fucking insane. So very good damage once it's fully built out, but until that point, it is dookie. Right? Other than that, I'm not really gonna go through much else on the build. All of this will be available on the written guide that's available on my website. So you can definitely check any of that out. And if you are looking for other builds for Hero Siege, I do have a link in this one to all of my builds. It's all on the website. So that way you can find maybe something else to play. So then you can build into this really cool gunner drone. So yeah, Season 7 begins on June 6th. That is next Friday. Be sure to come check us out live at twitch.tv/Garaxian_TV. We will be playing, obviously, on launch day. Come by, say hi, have a lot of fun, and we'll see you in the next video.